Welcome into NFL Live. We got Louis Riddick, we got Sam Macho, and alongside Jeremy Fowler, I'm Kevin Nagani. Let's dive into some context here. That is key before we ask the questions. Lawrence's new $275 million contract will pay him an average of $55 million per year, tying him with Joe Burrow for the highest average salary in NFL history. Next on that list, Jared Goff, who also signed a new extension this offseason. Tua's entering the final year of his deal and had some interesting comments at Miami's mandatory minicamp earlier this month on his contract talks with the Dolphins. Listen to this.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. The market is the market. If we didn't have a market, then none of that would matter. It'd just be an organizational thing, you know? Didn't matter if that guy got paid that because it's up to the organization. So that's what I would say. The market is the market. That's it.
And right now, the market continues to go up while he sits there and waits. Let's start with our insider, Jeremy Fowler. A month away from training camp, where do things stand with Tua and the Dolphins?
Yeah, Kevin, the Dolphins have been in contact with Tua's reps in recent weeks. Nothing has intensified yet, but there's a sense around the league and from people I've talked to that they will try to address this more firmly sometime this summer. But the pressure is on because you heard the man Tua. The market is the market. Are they willing to meet it? And this is a guy who led the league in passing while proving he could be durable, playing a full 17 games. The Dolphins wanted to see that. And so there's a belief that they will get this done, that this might be the path of least resistance among all the available quarterbacks up for mega deals. He should pass that $50 million threshold here soon.
And Tua sounds like a confident human being. I love that conversation. It's not emotional. It's extremely analytical. The market is the market. He's saying, based off of what I've done and based off what other quarterbacks have done, take out your emotions, take out your feelings, and just look at the pure stats. Last year, Jeremy mentioned it, Tua led the league in passing, over 4,600 yards. The year before, he led the league in passer rating. The question was, can you be healthy? He answered that question last season. And so this team needs Tua Tagovailoa to be successful. Mike McDaniel has shown that there's a nice marriage that's in play in Miami. And so for me, I think it's an unbelievable opportunity for Tua Tagovailoa. And statistically, analytically, even emotionally, he's saying the market is a market and the numbers are going to speak for themselves.
Yeah, what's so interesting about quarterback negotiations is that quarterbacks always feel as though the next guy up, provided that you are a starter, provided that you have had some kind of above average, let's just say top 10 production in terms of whether it be total QBR, completion percentage above expectation, that they then believe that, like, look, I need to surpass whoever was the most recent highest paid guy. So I need to be 55 plus. That's really what he's saying. We all know, though, that negotiations, regardless of position, are highly subjective. It doesn't just necessarily work that way, although with quarterbacks, it seems to work that way. Again, when we're talking about those top 10, top 5 guys, depending upon how you measure them statistically. Look, that being said, if I'm the Miami Dolphins, if I'm Mike McDaniels, look, I want my guy in there. And Mike has already said, I have no reason to believe that this won't get done. I have no reason to believe that I need to be planning for Tua not being here. So really what he's saying is, Chris Greer, I expect you to get this done. Stephen Ross, I expect this to be done. You guys figure out what that money actually means, but don't have me going into this season with this still hanging over my head.
And this is all about timing because, again, first 3 seasons dealing with injuries, and then last year, 17 games he played. And let's get to the next quarterback. And timing is key because Jordan Love, big question mark about the future. And then he closes out the season with a phenomenal second half. Love entering the final year of his contract after leading the Packers to the divisional round of the playoffs in his first season as the starter. Had a higher QBR and more passing touchdowns than both Lawrence and Goff, and they just got paid this offseason. So back here with Jeremy, what's the latest here with Love and the Packers and the contract talks?
Yeah, Kevin, the latest is the Packers would like to get this done in a perfect world before training camp. But we're seeing these matters are complicated because Jordan Love doesn't have the body of work. However, for him getting hot late in the season, I've talked to enough people around the league, scouts and execs and coaches, thinking he's a top 10 quarterback right now. And we're seeing, like Jared Goff and others, those guys get paid. And so they're going to have to shake that out. And also there could be a little bit of pressure on GM Brian Gutekunst because we saw what happened with Aaron Rodgers the last 2 years. It was tenuous. It was ugly at times. They'd probably like a cleaner process right now and just get this done with a quarterback that's clearly going to be their future.
Is he a top-tier quarterback worth the top-tier money in your mind?
Well, this depends on whether or not, Kev, you believe that 18 starts is enough to make you feel comfortable. to go ahead and put him up there in that top tier 53, 54, or in this case, 55 million per year plus average. Because look, I've said this 100 times on this show and every other. Contracts are supposed to represent future performance projection. Do you feel comfortable, if you're Brian Gutekunst, the general manager, do you feel comfortable saying, look, off of these 18 starts, 17 this year, 2 years ago, am I comfortable paying my guy who was top 10 in QBR and second in touchdown passes this year? Am I comfortable paying him at 26 years old after one season under his belt with all these youngsters that I've assembled around him, and he's got an absolute treasure chest of young weapons, young healthy weapons? Am I comfortable paying him $55 million plus? Well, I'll tell you what, if I'm Jordan Love, I go back to Brian and I say, hey, look, I was better than Trevor Lawrence. I was better than Jared Goff, if you want to just match it up number for number. And it's supposed to be about the future, right? So go ahead and pay me. And look, this is where it becomes so subjective, and there are going to be people going, look, hell no, you don't pay him. He only had started 18 games. He hasn't proven anything yet. You don't pay guys necessarily after they wind up putting 10 years together, and then all of a sudden you feel comfortable. You got to step out there. And with these quarterbacks, we know this. The price ain't going to do nothing but go up as the salary cap goes up and as the revenues go up. So, hey, look, just go ahead and get it done now, because he is the future. And many people with all those quarterbacks I just mentioned would say I would take Jordan Love before all of them right now if I had to make a choice.
I like it.
And Louis, to your point, I think the better question is, not a better question, a different question is, not are you comfortable paying him right now based off 18 games? Are you comfortable waiting another year? Because let's remember how Jordan Love ended the season last year. Last 8 games or so, 17 touchdowns, 1 interception, goes to the playoffs and destroys the Dallas Cowboys. This dude, he only has 18 starts, but he has 2 years of watching one of the greatest quarterbacks ever play. And they have 2 years of watching him in practice, learn and develop. And then the games come, and then that second half of the season comes, and he dominates. I mean, it was elite level play. And not just the second half, the whole season. 4,100 yards, 32 touchdowns, 11 picks in your first year starting. So if I'm Green Bay, I want to pay him now, because if Jordan Love does what a lot of people expect him to do this season, which is go out there and play like a top 10, top 5, top whatever, 8 quarterback, that money is going to go extremely high next year when the salary comes up. Yeah. Jordan Love goes and throws for 4,600 yards, 40 touchdowns. All of a sudden, it's not 55 million you're talking about. Now you're talking 60, 62, 63. If I'm Green Bay, I lock it up right now.
And, I can think of 3 guys right now who are just saying, all right, keep on going. And 2 of them played in the Super Bowl. Brock Purdy, right? Patrick Mahomes got to rip up his old deal, right? And then Dak Prescott.
That's not fair, though, Kev.
What's not fair? What's not fair, Louis?
No. What I'm saying it in a good way. Trust me. With Patrick, look, there really is no price, dude. Yeah. There is no price. Yeah. I mean, what is it for Patrick Mahomes? If he said $100 million, would anybody kind of blink an eye? No, you wouldn't. No. So, I mean, he's an outlier. You just set him over here somewhere. Yeah.
He's got the Jordan rules. He's got the Tom Brady rules that no matter what, it's never going to be enough. You'll make the money through all the endorsements because, again, he will be paid and comfortably paid. But the other guy is Dak Prescott. Let's segue here specifically because the Cowboys got to pay a lot of people. What are you hearing right now, especially their top 3 stars in Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Micah Parsons?
Kevin, it's going to be an expensive summer. They have been bracing for the inevitable. They've been basically spending in free agency with couch cushion money. They've been being very frugal, fiscally responsible because of these 3 guys they have to pay. My sense is the priority is Dak, that they're going to start there. Their efforts so far have been described to me as passive, but they've made clear to the player, the people involved, hey, we want to get this done. They know they have 5-6 weeks before training camp to try to shake it out. Lamb would be theoretically next. I'm told that Lamb's position is clear. The market is the market. The numbers are the numbers. He's been one of the very best. So he might not hit Justin Jefferson's $35 million a year. He's going to, at the very least, have to be close to it. And maybe he even does match or surpass it. Micah Parsons, the tricky one, because he might be the best player out of all of them, but he might have to wait. He's got 2 years left of free agency. Then you got Brandon Ayuk. This one's complicated because you saw the video, the TikTok video saying the 49ers don't want me anymore, telling Jaden Daniels, his ex-ASU teammate, that. That's not exactly true. They do want him. I'm told they made multiple efforts to re-sign him, just not at that high market. And he's become a top 10 receiver, so he's thinking, hey, that number's huge. They're not willing to meet it yet. They got 6 weeks for training camp. One deal that did get done, Ramondre Stevenson with New England. Our Adam Schefter reports 4 years, $36 million with $17 million guaranteed. This was an easy deal for New England because they prioritized running the ball. They love Stevenson in his game. They've signed other players like defensive tackle Christian Barmore. Matthew Judon, also veteran pass rusher, is one to watch. They could try to shake out a deal with him in the future as well.